Ladies and gentlemen, this is an Asteroid Fight Club full-fledged 5-day alert for the middle of the United States of America. This is the 24-hour rain total. This is the 5-day rain total. And then this is the 7-day rain total. And if this were 2011, wouldn't be that big of a deal, but it's 2019. And right now we have 257 rivers flooding. And so I will kind of zoom in here. And then we go here. Line it up. If you can see, pretty much that a large portion of that giant swath of rain is going to end up in the spots that don't need any more rain whatsoever. So we have 257 rivers flooding, 30 in major flood stage, 54 in moderate flooding stage, 173 in minor flood stage. Run down the middle of America, causing a lot of problems. The storm from March and the following devastation and destruction to crops, livestock, family homes, people, over $25 billion, and that's using very conservative government math. So it is a big problem, and it will continue to be a big problem. And so here's a look. We have a storm moving over the United States right now that looks like tiger prints. We'll get back to that in a second. Back to the river. The river flooding. Because remember, we've been getting earthquakes on the East Coast lately due to the gas giants being on the same side in planetary angular orbital momentum. And so that will continue. And adding all the rain on top of that will only increase the chances of us seeing larger earthquakes. And now the Mississippi River sets records, 25th. And the Mississippi River is a major river in the United States of America. I don't know if you knew that. You do now. If you think this flood is lasting longer than usual, you'd be right. As of April 24th, it's been exactly 32 days since the river hit above 18 feet. That breaks the record for the longest stretch the river has been above major flood stage. The previous record was set back in 2001. The record high for the Mississippi flooding was set back in 1993 when it reached more than 22.5 feet. And so, I've been warning about this for a couple months now. And our rivers are at very high levels for the start of flood season, and that hurricane season will probably start early this year. And usually when a hurricane, like if it curves in, let's say it were to hit in the Gulf, the hurricane then curves up and out usually. So one major storm or one or two hurricanes could really do some devastating damage to our whole country. And I've recommended that everybody take about a 100-day break from talking about politics, because everybody's been talking about politics for like 3-4 straight years nonstop. And that we see clear and present danger, we see patterns, we see trends, and that now is the time for us to adapt to that which is going on. As I've been pointing out lately, I know half the country talking about building a wall all the way through here. And well, hey, look, there's a volcano eruption right now. We're watching. Watch a volcano eruption. See that? It's a volcano erupting. Volcano erupting. And so, and the third one might even be a little volcano erupting. We think there's a real good chance in the next month to 6 years that we're going to see more volcano activity up the West Coast. And so the idea of building a wall when we know these people, our fellow Americans, meaning all the Americas, are dealing with volcanoes. We will be dealing with volcanoes. And then we'll be dealing with earthquakes as well. So the idea of worrying about anything, and worry doesn't help, but the idea of trying to figure out how to solve problems about anything other than the major problems that face us today. Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I've been here for 6 years trying to explain to people that we would be somewhere around here and that we would need to work together to break the bonds of oil and war that bind us and prevent us from modernizing our civilization, from building new cities in safe places, and even building structures in our cities that could withstand some major wind and even major flooding. So it looks like a sad upcoming week, in about a week for the Midwest. And I was so disappointed in Republicans and Democrats' response to Puerto Rico, and I've been so disappointed to their response to the floods in the Midwest. And so sometimes I'm at a loss for words, man. You know, it's like 490 days to the election. And I can't even imagine what our infrastructure is going to look like by then. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get by at least 2 hurricanes this season. The middle of September, middle of October. We're guessing Southwest Texas and Florida for now. That could change. And so look for this stuff to drop heavy rain. I know there have been tornado warnings through Mississippi and Florida. Let's go back to this thingy. You know, here's the crazy thing about it, is that, okay, I don't know where you live, man. I live in Houston, Texas. We dealt with Harvey. But it seems like the media, I guess, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like 90% of media and politicians, like, right there. There's 90% of all your media and politicians right there. There's like 90% of your social networking right there. And so the media is concerned about media things and politicians are concerned about politician things. And I'm just wondering how long the people, like in this portion, are going to really like wait to let these 2 areas dictate everything that's going on. That whatever their main focus interest is in driving the narrative, these are small parts. And so when you get to like these are the areas that need help for sure. And I would definitely say that right now it's a bigger deal than the border crisis or the opioid crisis or the terrorist crisis, you know, whatever, the guns crisis, like whatever the meat, like this is a big deal, you know. I don't like, man, I never even used to talk about the Edgar Casey map, even though I would think about it all the time. And so, Navy maps, Edgar Casey maps, call it what you will. Most of you have been with me for a while. And so, the maps that show, there are several maps that show the middle of America. And remember, these aren't new. And the Mother Earth keeps changing. And so, Now, definitely how it would go down, I definitely think would vary. But I'm just saying that we had the BP spill here, and then you had the methane sinkhole here. Here's like the biggest earthquake epicenter in the United States. And then these are all the flooding areas. So I definitely think this area needs to pay attention and work together. And if we knew there were going to be trouble, even on the West Coast or the East Coast or the Gulf Coast, that there's a lot of flat land in here, and that we just need to learn how to adapt. Now, people don't like any other ideas than the ones that are being presented, but I'm just saying, we gotta come together, and people gotta stop focusing all their energy on politics. It ain't helping nothing, and Mother Nature ain't toning down anytime soon. Like, watch this. This is the storms that'll be rolling through. You got like multiple lows, and the storm that is now passing over the East Coast, as soon as it leaves, you almost have the very next storm behind it. And Africa just had, in March, they had a city that was like 95% wiped out, and that same area is getting hit by another hurricane/cyclone right now. Australia hit by two hurricane cyclones. Like, it's like, I don't remember sundogs before 2012, and before 2017, I don't remember the United States of America getting hit by multiple hurricanes pretty much every single year. So it happened in 2017, happened in 2018, it's going to happen in 2019. But still, there has been no response by the public. The media, they don't want to talk about it. They're going to start screaming climate change just so everybody start getting triggered and arguing. I wish I could communicate what I'm trying to communicate better, but it stays like this, where it really feels like the little parts in the East Coast and the little parts in the West Coast clearly don't care. Just it seems like they don't care much for the people in the middle. And these are the people who put food on your table and have been doing it for a long, long time. I mean, if you can't respect the people who feed you, I know what to say, man, you can't eat money. Especially if that money is floating in a lake that used to be a mall. So I will keep you guys updated, and we will pray and hopefully get some divine intervention and get some new ideas. More people start waking up faster. And all right, stay cool. God bless everyone. Yeah, dude, this crazy shit though. Totally. Look at this storm blowing up. And that Mexico, the Popocatépetl in Mexico, that volcano has been going off for like 3 months straight. We're going to see some major earthquakes in the next 1 month to 6 years. All the gas giants are on the same side. I've discussed it a lot. And I'm seeing some of these frames. It looks like you got like 7 or 8 lows on the board. Yeah, look at this whole formation pattern, dude. It's time to get it in gear and stop letting the 5% who control the media and social media dictate the narrative. because that's a big problem. All right, doing my best. You guys stay cool. Peace out.